The paradox of kindness. Why goodness alone is not enough. Introduction. Have you ever noticed something strange? The kindest people, those who give the most, often receive the worst in return. The loyal friend is ignored, the honest worker is overlooked, and the selfless partner is left behind. Why does the world seem to punish those who do the right thing? The truth is, being good is not the problem, being only good is. Centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli observed this harsh reality. He warned that if you are always good, you will be used and then discarded. His message was not an endorsement of cruelty but a caution against naivety. The world does not reward blind kindness. It exploits it, the illusion of fairness. From childhood, we are taught to be nice, honest, and helpful, with the implicit promise that everything will work out in the end. Yet, for many, this idealistic approach leads to disappointment. The kindest employee remains underpaid, the forgiving friend is repeatedly hurt, and the giving partner feels emotionally drained. The uncomfortable truth is that goodness alone does not guarantee success, strength does. Morality is often presented as a magic key, but in reality, doors open for those who push, not those who wait passively. This is not an argument for abandoning kindness but for reinforcing it with strategy. Unprotected goodness becomes a weakness. Most people misunderstand Machiavelli, associating his philosophy with manipulation and betrayal. However, his true lesson was about survival. In a world rife with betrayal and self-interest, he recognized that pure goodness, without awareness, leaves one vulnerable. His message was clear: do not let your kindness blind you. Be compassionate, but also be discerning, know when to speak, when to remain silent, when to give, and when to walk away. The power of strategic kindness. Society conditions us to believe in fairness, that hard work, honesty, and generosity will be rewarded. Yet, reality operates differently. The world does not favor the kindest but the most assertive. Confidence, not just effort, commands respect. Boundaries, not people-pleasing, earn admiration. Presence, not passive virtue, influences outcomes. In relationships, business, and life, excessive openness and availability make one an easy target. This does not necessitate becoming cold or deceptive, but it does require abandoning the expectation of fairness without effort. People respect strength. If you do not carry yourself with self-assurance, the world will not treat you as though you matter. The brutal truth is that unguarded goodness renders you invisible. Kindness is powerful, but only when wielded with purpose. The necessity of boundaries. One of the most common mistakes kind people make is being perpetually available, always saying yes, always responding instantly, always sacrificing without question. While this may feel noble, it often leads to being taken for granted. The friend who is always free becomes an afterthought. The coworker who never refuses extra tasks is exploited rather than promoted. The partner who gives endlessly loses respect over time. Machiavelli understood this dynamic. Presence must be strategic. Learning to say no, creating space, and allowing others to miss you are essential. When you are too accessible, you cease to be valued. To apply this wisdom, be kind, but establish boundaries. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time and energy. Learn to say no without guilt. Protect your resources, avoid oversharing. Mystery cultivates respect. Be selective. Invest in those who reciprocate your generosity. This is not a call to abandon kindness but to defend it. Machiavelli was not advocating for cruelty but for consciousness. Kindness is sacred, but it must be shielded. Conclusion: kindness with power. This is not about becoming cold or manipulative, it is about survival. When kindness is mistaken for weakness, you risk losing not only respect but also your sense of self. There is a crucial distinction between being a good person and being a defenseless one. Power, in this context, is not about control but about self-respect. Machiavelli's lesson endures: be aware, be sharp, and never be naive. The world does not reward blind kindness, it rewards those who know when to give and when to stand their ground. So, do not stop being good, Start being good with power. If this resonates with you, do not simply nod and move on. Observe who is respected and who is taken for granted. Recognize how quiet confidence outshines desperate approval seeking. You do not need to change who you are, only to stop offering the world easy access to your worth. When you combine kindness with clarity, boundaries with empathy, and strategy with heart, you become unshakable. In a world that often rewards ruthlessness, knowledge is your greatest weapon. Protect your mind, your power, and your peace, because true strength lies not in abandoning goodness, but in defending it. The silent rebellion of the soul. Are you truly living or just existing? The illusion of a fulfilled life. You are wasting your life. No matter how hard you try to stay busy, surrounded by people, chasing goals, fulfilling obligations, there is a gnawing sense that something essential is missing. You go through the motions, yet it feels like mere existence, not true living. You may have labeled this unease as anxiety. A doctor may have called it depression and prescribed something to quiet the discomfort, a pill in the morning, another at night. Time passes, numbing what you should be urgently listening to. But what if this suffering is not a mistake? What if it is not something to suppress, but rather a calling, the psyche's cry for liberation? Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in depth psychology, believed that what we call mental disorder is often not a pathology, it is the psyche's attempt to heal itself. It is a warning: your life, as it is, does not serve your soul. You may be trapped in a routine that was imposed on you, a job that consumes you, relationships that drain you, dreams that were never yours to begin with. Meanwhile, your essence screams for freedom. Yet no one taught you to listen to that scream. On the contrary, you were taught to silence it, to function, to adapt, to not disturb. And so, you grow ill in silence while the world applauds your productivity. When the body and mind revolt, the soul, when ignored, begins to sicken. Since it has no literal voice, it speaks through the body and mind. Anxiety, panic attacks, hopelessness. But instead of listening, we are conditioned to silence it, to neutralize discomfort with chemicals, to return to normal as quickly as possible. But what is this normal? A job you hate but can't quit, superficial relationships maintained for appearances, empty goals and mechanical routines, a constant sense that you are merely surviving, not living. The anxiety you feel is not a failure, it is your soul shouting, "This life is not yours. You are betraying me." And if you ignore this for too long, the body screams louder. Yet the system is always ready with another dose, another label, another sedative. The more you adapt, the further you drift from yourself, until you feel nothing at all. No pain, no pleasure, just a chronic numbness they call adult life, the false cure, medicating the symptom. Ignoring the cause. Jung warned that by medicating symptoms without addressing their root, we create an illusion of healing. The person may appear functional on the outside, but inside, they remain lost. Over time, this division between what is felt and what is lived leads to an even greater collapse. You cannot escape the soul forever. It will demand its price, whether through burnout, emotional breakdowns, or an emptiness that nothing can fill. A culture that fears suffering. Modern society medicalizes discomfort, pathologizing any form of suffering. We fear pain because we have lost sight of its transformative power. For Jung, suffering was necessary, it was the beginning of the journey, the call to individuation, the process of becoming one's true self. But today, any distress is labeled as disorder, and by fleeing from suffering, we also flee from the chance to become who we are meant to be. The unanswered question: how many people are being silenced by treatments that only mask the problem? How many lives are wasted in the name of artificial stability? How many journeys have been cut short before they even began? To answer this, we must look beyond the individual, to the environment, the cultural structures, and the toxic definitions of success that shape our lives. Perhaps the problem was never you, perhaps the problem is the world that taught you to betray yourself. The choice is yours. Will you keep numbing the pain, or finally listen?